Welcome everyone to the omniverse of Nick and part 4 to What If Cliffjumper Survived. Now, before we get into today's episode, be sure as always to smash the like button and subscribe to the omniverse of Nick so you can help me grow up this channel and we can get more awesome stories pumping out. Makes me happy, which will in turn make you guys happy, and all of that fun stuff. And with all that out of the way, let's get into part 4 of the story. Last time we left off, Skyquake was successfully brought back from the dead, and Team Prime was left to fight it with no 2 ground bridges happening, so they actually have to face him. And it's not left to the humans this time, which they do. All of Team Prime, including Cliffjumper, fights Skyquake Terracon, but it doesn't seem to be doing anything. Oh, they're making leeway with holding him back, but it's not seeming to actually take care of him. So, Terracon Skyquake just keeps advancing towards them, and even after he loses an arm, the arm is able to move on its own like Cannon, and this is causing to be a little bit of trouble. Starscream eventually returns, successfully able to see his creation, and is definitely liking what he's seeing. But soon enough, that begins to change. With Cliffjumper there, true, if Team Prime was just there by themselves to fight Terracon and Skyquake, they would be able to win without probably any losses. But Cliffjumper being there is cause for concern because it's actually starting to slow him down. Starscream is ready to interfere and shoots a rocket, but Cliffjumper, in his quick thinking, he grabs the rocket and literally throws it straight back at Starscream, who is terrified and gets caught in his own explosion. So yeah, that was really something that I don't think any Autobot ever did with Starscream's rockets, but with Cliff, we can definitely expect it. It would be an awesome moment. And with Starscream knowing he's pretty much lost, he just shoots at the Autobots and runs. With this, Optimus is quite surprised and proud of Cliffjumper doing that, and the fact that they made it out of that, especially with what they were dealing with. And Cliffjumper says he's happy to serve. And after this, Starscream is going to be recovering for not too much longer like in canon, but he is going to be recovering for much longer because you don't come back from getting a rocket of your own making thrown at you and your arm missing just like that. So, for now, Bulkhead rescues Breakdown like the canon episode, and Arachnid and Silas team up, except this time, it's not against Jack and RC that Arachnid and Silas are teaming up. It's against Cliff and RC. So, no humans are involved, but it's still a decent cause for concern. Cliff and RC take the bait and are surrounded by Mech, Silas, and Arachnid. Cliff is the test subject and is knocked unconscious, while RC has her next encounter with Arachnid, which plays out the same, except there's no Nurse Darby there to get in the way. Meanwhile, Mech is just about to cut in to Cliffjumper, but in typical Cliff fashion, he just shoots the humans away, like he said so himself that he did in the first episode. Arachnid is frozen temporarily, scans Fowler's copter, and flees the scene. The next episode would play out the same, with RC and Bulk on a mission, except there's no Miko there, and they face Breakdown and Arachnid as they do. Except Cliff would be there because, obviously, and that would make the whole Breakdown and Arachnid case not as bad. Basically, Bulkhead and RC wouldn't get stuck together. But Arachnid and Breakdown would, and they return to the Khan's warship. After this, RC and Bulkhead, they would go on the underground mission into the mines whenever Megatron's planning on killing Starscream, and Cliff would be there too. So the three of them are all there by themselves to see Megatron about to snuff Starscream, and they promptly are spotted and they have to face against Megatron. Starscream, seeing that this is literally no way for him to win, and knowing what Cliff and the other bots did to him, he just books it. But Cliff ain't about to let him escape again. He literally turns into vehicle mode and smashes Megatron in the face just to get him out of the way so he can chase after Starscream. So it would be a very funny moment just for Megatron just being in the way and then trying to shoot at Cliff, leaving Bulk and RC to promptly face Megatron alone. But isn't that big of a deal, not even for RC, who, in her typical fashion like in canon, shoots Megatron's blaster upwards so that the mines are crashed down by the rubble and the rocks. So, not a big deal. But what is a big deal is Cliff and Starscream make it out of the mines as Cliff was chasing Starscream and he was already running. And they see what happened. Now, Starscream, like in canon, he's elated about this and really doesn't care about the fact that his master is under rubble. He did just try to kill him. But Cliff says it's not just Megatron that's down there. Bulk and RC are down there too. He knows that Starscream's not going to care anything about that. But Cliff says to Starscream he hopes he realizes that if the other cons find out what Starscream did, ain't no coming back from that. And he doesn't expect Starscream to go anywhere, and literally holds him at blaster point to go and rescue Bulk and RC. Doesn't really care for Megatron. And Starscream doesn't have a choice. Bulk is able to hold back the rubble, but they're in a different location, so it would be a little bit different. They probably wouldn't even have to hold up any rubble since they were all together. Once Starscream and Cliff get down into the mines, RC just wastes no time in wailing on Starscream something fierce and holding him at blaster point. He wouldn't have to hold any rubble, like I said, since they're in a different location, but he would still find Megatron and they would return to the ship. After that, Arachnid would take control of Starscream's place, and they would go on the mission that they did in the next episode. Starscream's whole redemption to the Decepticons. God, no, we had enough of that. But there's one big thing that changes the course of this episode. Starscream didn't kill Cliffjumper, so he doesn't have that to hold on to. Well, obviously, since it's the name of the tale. But point is, he doesn't have that to hold on to, nor will it be held against him. So Cliff is there whenever Arachnid and Starscream are in the Harbinger. Arachnid still tries to hold RC at point, but it's Cliff who comes up and tells her to release her. And Arachnid flees to go find the immobilizer. Optimus tells RC about going off on her own, but RC says that it was for Tailgate because she still lost Tailgate, even though Cliff's alive. And honestly, Cliff is the only one who really resonates with RC and her loss. Starscream then says he wants to be on their side, but Cliff, RC, and Bulkhead ain't buying it for one dang second. Even if they didn't know at the time that Starscream was the one who killed Cliffjumper, like, either way, they ain't gonna trust Starscream, especially with Cliff there. But Optimus says the whole thing about everyone possesses the ability for change, which is true to a level, but that's an entirely other story. Cliff says that he could stay behind with Starscream while they go chase after Arachnid. because if someone like RC or Bulk were to stay here, Starscream would probably try something and like get onto them. But him specifically, he was the first target of Starscream back whenever they first came to Earth. So if anything, this is perfect for him. He stays behind, makes sure Starscream doesn't get into trouble, and RC, even though Optimus is telling her to not go after Arachnid, this is honestly the best thing that they can do. And he tells this to Optimus specifically. Optimus agrees with this on a level, but is still uneasy about RC going after Arachnid again. But honestly, throughout the series, it was just inevitable that they fight. So he agrees with this plan, and RC is glad to be going after Arachnid and Cliff making this plan. Meanwhile, Arachnid gets the immobilizer, and Bulk, like Cannon, is the first to be immobilized. But RC is there to accompany Optimus, Bulkhead, and Bumblebee, so she is extra help to stop Arachnid. But that doesn't stop her from being the next one to get immobilized. Arachnid would have targeted her first, but honestly, she wasn't expecting her to just come out of the woodwork and be with the bots. On a level she was, but it was still unexpected. But this time, Bumblebee and Optimus are able to break the immobilizer and make Arachnid flee. Not just Bumblebee. Meanwhile, Starscream is trying to plead his case that he's a good guy now and everything. But since Cliffjumper's there, he has no deaths on his streak. Cliff still tells him at blaster point to just keep quiet, because even though he didn't kill anybody, Cliff ain't gonna take the whole thing about the cons and him almost killing him back whenever they first came to Earth. And that Starscream is far from a good guy, and he doesn't want to hear any of it. And Cliff's not going to be easy to take the bait like RC was. Optimus and Bumblebee arrive on the scene with nothing have happened. Cliff has just been holding Starscream there and making sure he doesn't do anything. Optimus, he still believes that Starscream can change, and he agrees they're going to take him back to the base. But he's going to be kept under safeguard, literally safeguard, and he ain't going to be doing anything until they are sure they can trust him. RC and Bulk are completely against this plan because it's Starscream, and Starscream, he could be useful in the future. But is he planning anything? How will Starscream actually being with the bots go? How long will it last? Especially with the new base and not their old one. And how will it go with Cliff still alive?
Why am I asking you all these questions?
Find out on the next episode on the Omniverse of Nick. You guys didn't think this was the end of the video, did you? Well, the Omniverse of Nick has a new feature. A sneak peek at what's next to arrive.